All right. What up, Roger? 3 million years later, and we're finally starting.
Bullshit tech.
Yeah, the starting tech is always unpredictable. Something can always go wrong.
Yeah, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
We always know what the fuck we're doing, but it's just,
Don't even know how to charge a keyboard, bro. I mean, what the fuck?
I've never had to charge it
Yeah,
because it is always charged.
right.
Yeah, so it's been like about a week or two since we
You went to
last
Costa Rica,
went
ran away
around.
like a little punk from the New York weather.
Because we've seen how this shit just dissolves, and the storms are coming. Tomorrow there's another snowstorm. This one is just clearing up from a little bit of rain that we just got. And
I don't believe any of this shit is real. I believe they're messing with the weather and fucking with people, but that's my weird ass idea about what's going on.
I mean, one thing that stood out to me that the conspiracy theories, they're collecting all their medals. And there's an image of I think it's forbidden knowledge.
No.
Forbidden knowledge. This guy.
I don't really need these websites like Forbidden Knowledge and Alex Jones and all that stuff, because I've been seeing criminal shit all my life.
Billy Carson.
You ain't got to tell me that these people are doing crazy shit.
Right. But you know what's funny? Like a couple of years ago, all these people were considered crazy, like all these.
Oh yeah, I know that brother.
Yeah.
He's a little off the beaten path, but them. But look, I don't know what he knows, and I don't know where he got what he knows. He's them dudes that be talking about space aliens and what's behind Antarctica, and there's a whole city in another world, and 7 Puerto Ricans eating acapulcos.
But you
Right,
see,
nigga.
so this is the thing. Like a couple of years ago, so he made a book called "Woke." You don't have to be broke or something like that. Woke. You don't have to be. What is it? From woke to broke or something like that. Like you don't have to be broke if you're woke, something like that. And it's interesting because from a couple of years ago to now, all these conspiracy heads came out, and what was considered conspiracy became real.
Not conspiracy heads. There's no such thing as a conspiracy head or a conspiracy theory.
Uh-huh.
Anything that you say that goes against the grain of the establishment is going to be recognized as something, whether it's a conspiracy theory, whether it's, anything that's obstructive to them, they're going to figure out a way to tell you that it's not something that they can digest, it's subversive or whatever. But when somebody comes up with a different narrative from what the establishment has, they're going to call it something. Conspiracy theory, they're going to call it a lie, they're going to call it sedition. Like if you told people not to join the army, to go and fight in criminal wars, they'll arrest you for sedition. You can't, you talk about freedom of speech, you can't say, don't join the army.
Right.
They'll throw you in jail for that.
But yeah, so a couple of years ago, all these people were called something, to mock them and to like discredit
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. Don't indulge in calling people conspiracy theorists like the establishment does. You listen to you listen to everybody's point of view and you make your own decision.
Right.
You hear the establishment say X, Y, and Z, and then you hear the so-called conspiracy theorists say A, B, C. And then you go and you do your own research and you figure out which one's right. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing about cancer. There's one guy named G. Edward Griffin say if you eat these nuts, you're not going to get cancer because it has something called Laetrile. I forgot, apricot seeds or whatever. It's not going to give you cancer. This guy's like 95 years old. I'm trying to listen to a guy that's 95 about life as opposed to some doctor who's 56 years old and he's fat as a house. So you got to take whatever they give you and you got to parcel it out and make a decision for yourself.
Right, right. So my whole thing is like all these things are becoming real, right? All these things,
These things are real. They're not becoming real.
they're not okay.
They
Okay.
are real. The all the things that are coming out, the big whole thing about John F. Kennedy, 9/11, you know, the killing of Patrice Lumumba, the killing of Muammar Gaddafi, the killing of Salvador Allende, you know, all these things that have happened in the world, people came down and said, you know, this was wrong and that was wrong and this is what they did, blah, blah. And it's a conspiracy theory because it's wrong. Let me tell you something
Mm-hmm.
that you probably don't know, right? There was something called uh, Jonestown in Guyana, right? And
Jonestown.
Jonestown. This is where a guy came and took a bunch of people from the San Francisco area, Oakland area, and he brought them down to Guyana, and he, you know, fed them this religious cocktail of bullshit, right? And it was called the People's Temple. And he was down there with some sort of religious uh, uh, uh,
Mm-hmm.
cult.
Right.
And at the end, they said that the people drank Kool-Aid filled
Oh.
with cyanide.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the whole term they drank the Kool-Aid came.
Oh, yeah.
Well, nobody knows how that really started. That kind of started in what's called the Fillmore District in Oakland, California. And what they did, it was a black community that was thriving. They had their own businesses, their own movie theaters, bowling alleys, and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were thriving businesses out there. And the city and the state of California, I guess, wanted to disrupt this because you can't have black people thriving doing their own thing. So they did a whole bunch of stuff, created ordinances, created all these new laws where people were getting fined for nonsense. They were getting fined in their restaurants. They were getting fined in their bowling alleys. They were getting fined in their homes. Similar to what's going on right now, when you go to a restaurant, you see an A rating or a B rating and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have congestion pricing now, and all these things. They create these new ordinances and these new laws to sort of control and trap the people. And it usually, at the end, when they start doing a lot of it, it starts to bankrupt people. Because right now, you're looking at buildings in New York
Mm-hmm.
where they say, "Hey, this is a B-rated energy efficient building or a C-rated energy efficient building." And then they start giving these parameters that the landlords have to do. Now you have all these things where when you're evicting a tenant, you can't evict them in 1 month. You got to wait 3 months to evict them. So that turns, you know, New York City's apartments and landlords into homeless shelters
No, wow.
temporarily, because you, in order to evict a person, it's going to take 3 months just to fill out the paperwork, another 3 months to get a court date or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and another 3 months for them to get the eviction. So 9 months later, you finally get the tenant out of your house, but the city of New York is just buying time from you because they don't have any sort of support system for the people in New York. They're not creating any jobs. They're not, you know, everything is high.
Right.
Milk and bread goes up every day, but the salaries don't go up. So this is what the establishment does to squeeze people, and then the people fall into disrepair, and then they follow somebody like Jim Jones. So by the time Jim Jones was able to get those people, he had already taken over their government subsidies. Like some of them were getting like welfare and stuff for their kids. He figured out a way to get that from them and distribute it to them. So he would sign for them, and he would corrupt the whole thing. So he was getting their welfare checks and their food stamps and all that
Oh,
stuff,
wow.
and he was distributing it out to them. And then he decided that he wants to go and take them down to Jonestown. And you know, my dad said it was a big CIA experiment. I don't know what the hell it was, but my uncle was also a doctor, and he said that when the people died, they were all laid, you know, prostrate. And when you die of cyanide poison, your body convulses. You don't die like collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
You die because the cyanide gets you to convulse. So at some point, you're gonna. It's like It's like dying when you're having a seizure. You're not gonna die.
And who are all these people that he took over there?
There were a bunch of African Americans that were, you know, sidewinded by the political structure
Really?
and was destroyed. The same way they burnt down Rosewood and Black Wall Street and all these other areas that black people are thriving. They did the same thing in the Fillmore district in Oakland, California. And that's how Jim Jones' stuff was created. And so now you're going to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory right now, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you go and look at the record, that's what it is. There was another guy named Gary Webb. He said that, you know, the American government brought the drugs, the crack into the black community,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then that was a big conspiracy theory for everybody else. But, you know, at the end of the day, African Americans at that time and still today don't own the ports. They don't own any shipping lanes. They don't
So
own,
they don't know who comes in.
yeah, who is bringing in the dope? And the dope is not coming from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
The dope's coming from South America. So now they say it's a conspiracy theory. And this guy really, really, he wound up dead, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, it appears that that guy was right. So when you hear something, you know, you just don't throw it aside because people aren't just going to be crazy and make shit up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. Like, so ever since like the 70s, 80s, black people were always coming up with theories that they were deemed conspiracy to discredit them, right? And now all these things
They
are
didn't
coming
come
up.
up with theories. This is, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
straighten you
no,
out.
I got you. I
They
got you.
didn't come up with theories. They came up with actual underground facts and articulated that.
Uh-huh.
And they said they were theories. You see, when you got the police breaking into your house and shooting your family and beating up your children as they go to school and searching them and harassing them, that's not a theory.
That's not okay.
That's some shit that happened. But when you formulate that, let me give you an example. There was this lady that wrote a book called The New Jim Crow,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she wrote this, I forgot her name, but she wrote a book called The New Jim Crow. And it was hailed as one of the best books ever, and how they were using jail as the new plantation and stuff like that. Well, you know,
What was the name of the book again?
The New Jim Crow, I forgot the lady's name,
I can look it up.
but the reason her book did so well and she got the notoriety was because she was a light-skinned black lady and the establishment liked her.
Michelle Alexander.
Michelle Alexander, right. And she was a light-skinned black lady, and she's more appetizing. But Nathan McCall wrote a book called Make Me Wanna Holler, which expressed some of the similar things. Another brother, I'm not sure, I keep getting these books confused with the name of the authors, but there was a book called Black Men Single, Obsolete, and Dangerous. And then there was another book called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And those books came out way before Michelle Alexander's book. And those books kind of solidified the same concept of the new Jim Crow, taking black kids, right, and destroying their futures via the educational system and corralling them into the prison system. So that's why the title of the book, Black Men Single, Obsolete, and Dangerous. Well, why would a black man be single, obsolete, and dangerous? One, he can't find a woman because he can't find a job.
Mm-hmm.
He's obsolete because no one can hire him, so he's useless. He's not a functional human being. And he's dangerous because he's now a criminal. So why would that be? Because he didn't get the right education he needed to step up. He didn't get the right nurturing he needed to fit into society. He can't find a woman that he could partner with and have kids and become responsible. So he becomes single, obsolete, and dangerous.
Mm.
I'm I don't know because shit runs together on me. The two authors, one's name is Jawanza
Wait.
Njufu, and the
Say that
other
name
brother,
again? Hold on.
one brother's name Jawanja Kunjufu, and the other brother's name is Haki Marabuti, and I don't know who wrote which book
What's
because
the
I
name of the
forgot.
book?
Black Men Single, Obsolete, and Dangerous. If you find one, I think we should have done this shit before we had this
But
conversation.
that's how it is. You know,
Yeah,
things just come
yeah,
up.
because that just popped in my
Absolutely.
head. If you find one, you're gonna find the other. But those books were written by two brothers, and they were talking about the same thing. And then there was Nathan McCall, and then there was another brother named um, Sonny Carson, and he didn't just talk about that; he lived that. I think his name became Abudika, Abudika Carson, and he was an African American man who went through the system and was involved in a whole bunch of nonsense that he got systemized with, and all those things were really really interesting. But I think in the 2000s, this lady wrote this book when black men were talking about this for 40 years. You know, so that
Right. And it's like, from whose mouth does it come? Like, who's the person, who's the eye, who's more appealing? So
right.
all these things are taken into.
Who is that? Is that
This one is hockey.
okay? Hockey wrote.
Hockey.
I feel like an idiot. All my professors gonna be like, you moron. Hakeem Madhubuti wrote Black Men Single, Obsolete, and Dangerous.
I'm gonna.
And
Uh-huh.
Wanza wrote Countering the Conspiracy. And then you could lay it out with Sonny Carson and Nathan McCall's Make Me Wanna Holler. And so, when people are talking about certain things, if the establishment doesn't like it, it's a conspiracy. It's you know it's an absurdity. It's subversive. It's anti-white. It's counterculture. It's anti-American. It's anti-West and all that stuff. But people in general have got to understand that you know when people are confronted with issues, they're going to express themselves, and when they express themselves, some people express themselves in remarkable ways. Like I always said, there's two people I don't want to argue with ever.
Hmm.
Is James Baldwin and Toni Morrison, because you get your ass kicked. And James Baldwin, when he was articulating the black struggle, there was nobody better. I
Mm.
mean, his whole thing was that he was gay, and people were like, "Yo, this dude's gay."
That's it. They cancel him out because of that.
Yeah, but Baldwin is like, I mean, he wasn't no Uncle Tom. I mean, the whole gay thing and his white boyfriends and like that put him in that Uncle Tom category. But James Baldwin was like a meat cleaver to Western imperialism. And the next person I don't want to have an argument with is this lady from South Africa named Dr. Arikana. She is no joke. She's a medical doctor and she's a diplomat. And I'm not trying to go back and forth. Yeah, that lady right there. I'm not trying to go back and forth with her. I just shut up and listen. Because if you line James, because I run my mouth on a lot of shit. But if you line James Baldwin, Dr. Arikana, and Toni Morrison up, straight knockouts, just right hands to the jaw.
So you see, so a lot of those things that people said in those times, again, we're saying these were things that were studied, these were things that were, and then they were shared with the public, and still, they had a lot of pushback, right?
Mhm.
Um,
And that's where the conspiracy theories begin. They are not conspiracy theorists. They are labeled
right,
conspiracy.
they're labeled now. In 2026, all these things coming out, and Trump just said that they might release some alien files and stuff. What? So they got the Epstein, they got the Prince arrest, they got a whole bunch of stuff that they just thrown out
When you
there.
say they got the Epstein,
The files,
what's the Epstein? Okay,
the Epstein
first of all,
file.
let's
Go
clear
ahead,
up
break
one
down
thing.
something.
Let's clear up one thing. There's no such thing as the Epstein file.
Uh huh.
It's the Epstein crimes.
Epstein
Yeah,
crimes.
these are not files. Okay,
That's so funny.
these are not files. Okay, it's like you're trying to say, hey, a file is what a lawyer brings to court, and 9 times out of 10, that file is a criminal file. You know what I mean? So you don't call them files. It's like when you call them people pedophiles. Oh, that's funny, pedophiles. No,
Pedophile.
when you call somebody pedophile, you're saying someone that loves children. No, that's not what a pedophile is. Pedophile is a child rapist.
Hmm.
You
So
know,
they name it something else so that the impact
But
is less.
it's not that the impact is less; it's that the original thing for pedophile was a Greek term for child love.
Oh,
You know,
they
so they
corrupted that.
no, well, I don't know if they corrupted it, but that was their thing. They were into little boys and stuff like that. You know the term mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, This brother told me this, and I have no reason to believe that he's wrong. Um, what's homeboy's name? I forgot his name, but it'll come up later on. But this brother told me this, that the word mentor came about in a weird way because this kid in Greece was going. This dude in Greece was going away on a trip,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to leave his son with a scholar to get an education. So it's not like he was going to Caracas and he was flying back on Thursday. They didn't have planes back then. So if he was journeying to, let's say, Turkey or I don't know, Egypt or whatever, it was going to be a few months before he came back. So he left his son in the tutelage of this man. And the payment for the tutelage, the payment for the education was that the kid had to give up his body sexually to this man. So
And the father agreed to this.
don't look at me like that, man. I'm not.
I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
just
So
asking. You tell the
look.
story.
It ain't me, bruh. You looking at me
I'm
like,
just.
nah, I ain't like that shit, man. You looked at me like I was the dude. Like, and
and
I agreed to this.
and you the father.
Hey, I'm just telling you the story that homeboy told me, and so that's what happened. And so the kid had to exchange his body for the
Yeah.
education that he needed. And the guy that was teaching the kid and getting the booty hole, his name was Mentor.
Oh wow, that's some
Yeah, that's
crazy.
a much better reaction. Oh
Yeah,
wow, I like
man.
that. It's a lot less hostile.
That's some crazy stuff, man. Like how things get named. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, jumping back to this guy over here, who has a lot of
Who's who? What guy?
this guy
Epstein.
Epstein. Yeah. So
Okay.
why do you think that his crimes and his all these stuff about him is coming out now, and what's to come of it after he's dead already?
Well, now a lot of guys. I was watching Jimmy Dore. You know Jimmy Dore?
Mm-mm.
It's a hilarious stand-up comedian, and he's got this show called the Jimmy Dore Show. And not only is it like full of politics and the shit you really need to assess the situation in life, it's fucking hilarious. The guy, even though he is doing a lot of crazy political and social commentary and investigative reporting, and you have these guests on, he never stops with the jokes.
Mm.
And he had a couple of pictures about the guy, Epstein, this Epstein guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, when the body was shown, they showed the Epstein that everybody knew, and then they showed the body of the guy they said was Epstein that was completely different. So they're saying that Epstein never
Never
died.
died.
Look, bruh, I know we're going up.
Then
You know my expertise is black shit, right? I do all this Kunta Kinte shit and Egypt shit, but if you're gonna ask me these questions, I'm gonna try my best to answer them based
yeah.
on the information other people give me. But the Epstein thing is one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's called blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is true. Like I said, I hear a lot of stuff, and being who I am, a comedian and writing stuff like that, people approach me on other things, and they give me stuff. But when the Federal Reserve Act was signed, right? The president of I think it was Andrew Johnson. I'm not sure. Some of this stuff goes by me. When the Federal Reserve Act was signed to create the Federal Reserve Bank, which creates the money and really devastates the world in reference to economics, finance, and human labor. When he signed that document, they said he signed it out of duress because he was cheating on his wife. And they were going to say, yo, you cheating on your wife. And he didn't want his relationship to break up. So he signed the country away to these central banks. That's how we got taxes and central banking and, you know, all this other stuff, Um, I forgot what it's called, but it's some sort of banking where the bank can only needs 10% fractional reserve lending. The bank only needs 10% of the money that they have. So if they got $10 in the bank, they could lend you $100. If they got $100 in the bank, they could lend you 1,000. If they got a million, they could lend you 10 million, because it's all made up shit. So that's one other conspiracy theory that they say. I don't know if this shit is true, but Andrew Johnson was blackmailed. I think it's Johnson, just like that Haki Matabuti shit. I think it's Johnson, and he was blackmailed into signing that away. So what Epstein was doing was blackmailing people, and everybody talks about Epstein, but this is not something that's new.
Right.
This is a Western process, to blackmail somebody, to undermine their integrity, to set them up so their integrity can become questioned, and it's very difficult to escape this. This is why I backed off of Hollywood. When I was out in LA with all of them, I was doing my thing. I was at all the parties. I was at the puffy
You weren't in
parties,
a.
not the Diddy parties.
Oh.
There's a difference between the puffy party.
Say all the parties.
Oh no, I was, because here's the thing. When I was a kid, right? When I was growing up and coming up in comedy, you know, um, I was in like they're saying now, I don't know if this is true, but they're saying now that I was one of the first comedians ever, if not the first comedian in a rap video. I don't know if that's
What
true.
rap video were you on?
Well, I'm not telling you because you're gonna pull it up and I look like a freak. But at the end of the day, I was in 2 rap videos, so, I was kind of recognizable at a young age as a comic, and I would get into clubs. I knew all the security, and you don't really need to know celebrities to get into any club in New York. Most of the hot clubs in New York, even today, have African American security. So if you know security, you're in. You don't have to know any. You don't have to have plastic. You don't have to have metal. You don't have to have VIP. Your name don't have to be on the list. You just walk up and say, "Yo, what up, beast? All right, good. You coming through? Yeah, yeah. How many you got? I got 3. All right, man. Go ahead. Yo, he good." And you're in the door. You don't pay any money. You don't do nothing. And so I knew these security guys because um I knew these security guys for 2 different reasons. I would say one reason, they all were security at the comedy clubs, at Def Comedy Jam, at the album release parties and stuff like that. And there's a singer named El DeBarge that everybody said I looked like, and then they started saying I looked like Chico DeBarge, which is his little brother. So I used to get in the clubs with people. It was a bunch of crazy shit. So I got access to a lot of parties, to the point where, you know what a sushi table is?
The girls? No. Sushi table.
Yeah, what is it? You
The table that spins and you got sushi.
What?
The table that spins, is it with this that sushi table is a table that comes and the sushi comes down and you grab it, no?
Okay.
That's the other sushi.
That's a real sushi table.
Uh-huh.
Okay, sushi table, or they call it sushi table here, or it's where you get a naked girl.
Okay, that's the first one that popped into my
You
mind.
get a
But
naked girl, usually a pretty
politically
young girl,
correct.
and then you lay sushi or snacks. It could be goose liver pate, it could be hors d'oeuvres, it could be anything. It could be mofongo. You throw some and you put it on her body, and it's all over her body, even on her calves and legs, sometimes on her toes, but it's all over the main portion of her body. And then you eat the food off it, which is disgusting. It's just fucking disgusting. But you know, Jesus loves me. So anyway, I used to see these sushi tables a lot. And it'd be like 10, 12 girls, and you go in the corner.
Is this like at a club, at a restaurant? Where was it?
It was at everywhere, but a lot of times it was at private parties. And I was at those parties. I was at those parties so much, I was like, I'm sick too for going to these places. But I went because I was trying to come up in the game. I was trying to meet people and stuff like that. And you name the comic out there that's big, I worked with them. You know what I mean? And so I went to one too many of those parties, right? And I saw my boy's little sister on the sushi table.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Yeah, she was 19 years old. And I was like, I'm going to use a different name. I was like, Vanessa? And everybody knows my voice because my voice is distinctive. And she just panicked. So I was like, yo, get up. I had on a collared shirt. She's kind of little. She's like 5'5" or something like that. So I had on a collared shirt. It was summertime, and I had on like a wife beater. I don't like calling that shit a wife beater, but it's just funny that they call that
That's
shit
the
a wife.
80s name or 70s.
It's 90s.
90s.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and I don't know when it came from, but I know
From some guy who beat their wife and they had a tank top on.
yeah, that Rocky shit. So I put the shirt over her, and I literally picked her up and walked her out the building. And everybody's, yo, 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 what you doing? I was like, yo, money.
Shit.
Not now.
You messing around with my merchandise.
Not now. Yo, 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 bruh. Trust me. Not now. And I have my friend Marvell with me. And Marvell is a little bit of a libel dude. He was like, yo, yo, what we doing is what we doing. And they had mad security there. We could have gotten shot to death.
Shit.
They had mad security there. So I picked her up and I took her and I'm walking through. Bruh. Okay, let me explain to you how this works. And this is why I tell people, I'm going to tell you another story that'll freak you out.
I want you to bring it back to this guy.
All right, let's bring it back. You want me to finish this story?
Yeah, you can finish the story, but I want to
So,
know what you think about it.
So this is part of that story, which is why I'm saying
Parties.
don't worry about what Epstein's doing because another nigga's doing that shit right now.
That's what I was like. If this is one case, there's a million other cases.
Right. Let me finish this fucking story and then I'll tell you the rest of this shit. So I'm leaving this house, right? And it's a mansion. And I'm not going to say what town it is, but it's in New York. Pick what town you want a mansion to be in. So I'm walking, and from the mansion to the fence is about 300 yards. So you could get shot
walking out
from that. And the security was following me. I told security, I turned around and I had the girl on my back. I said, yo, man, leave us alone, bro. Trust me, leave it alone. But we didn't get to the car because that's where the guns were. At least Marvell's guns. But we were unarmed. Turns out Marvell had his gun. And I said, nigga, why didn't you tell me that shit? We would have walked out of there with, bruising. But, so we leave and the cars are parked all over the place. They're on the side, on this. It's all just up on a mountain. And so we got into our car and I said, yo, man, just grab one of the pistols just in case we got to let off on one of these niggas. And I'm not that dude. I'm not the gun dude. But that's my boy's little sister. Okay, he's a lawyer. His mother's a lawyer. His father's a lawyer. Why the fuck are you naked on a sushi table, bitch? Are you stupid?
Damn.
So we're going. I'm just explaining you the scenario, especially for a lot of you young women, for the most part, who like to go to these parties. So it's about 300 yards to the gate that opens up, right? So that's like half a block. So then you get out, and the driveway to get off the property is a quarter mile or more. And then there's a private road that's another half a mile before you get to the highway.
Holy cow.
So you come off whatever, I almost called the highway, you would have known what town it was. You come off a Highway X, you go onto a road. It's like dark and desolate road.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go onto another private road, which is like a half a mile. And then you got to go another maybe quarter of a mile of stretch on the property. So if you go there and you're not crewed up, you go there as a young girl with two of your girlfriends, you're done.
Mm.
Unless you're Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali and you're going to knock niggas out as you go. So you go to these isolated places for these parties. The only time I went to those parties is when I had a +1 and I brought one of my non-entertainment guys there, because the non-entertainment guys don't care about the entertainment guys. But if I bring a couple of my comedian friends, everything's gonna be nah, chill,
Yeah.
nah, chill. But if I bring one of these niggas,
Mm-hmm.
yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Yo, we don't want no trouble. Yo, y'all gotta leave, man. Y'all, I bet. That's what we wanted to do anyway. That's why we raised hell. So y'all could kick us out. You know what I mean? Yo, let them niggas go, man. Let them niggas go. We don't need that here. We don't need that here. And these bitch ass security guards are protecting all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Do not get it twisted. That's why I said all that shit Cat Williams says was a bunch of bullshit, because everybody knows.
You seen the new show, the new thing he just dropped?
Yeah, it's dope.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's dope.
I have it on my watch list.
Cats, no joke. But what I'm saying is,
Uh-huh.
you gotta understand, when you go to these parties, right? You go to any parties, right? You go to, let's say you go to a celebrity party. Not everybody there is a celebrity.
Right.
There are cooks, there are maids, there's security, there's lawyers, there's agents, there's secretaries, there's my cousin, there's my sister, there's my mama now. They're regular niggas at these big celebrity parties. And they know shit.
Right.
And they talk shit. And so when we talk about this Epstein guy, you know, everybody wants to put Puffy in that category. I don't think Puffy is in that category at all. I think Puffy was into freaking himself off, and he was into getting, you know, booty, you know, from people who want to get in the entertainment industry. But you also got to understand, a lot of these black people in the entertainment industry don't have the power you think they have.
Right.
Because let's say I'm Diddy, right? And let's
Do you
say
think that, I mean, not that there was a distraction, but do you think that the way they brought up Diddy stuff was sort of like to, because they've been on the Epstein stuff for years.
everything is bullshit, bro.
Uh-huh.
Let me explain something to you. The Michael Jackson thing was bullshit.
Have you heard recently what they're saying? That Michael Jackson was trying to stop these kids from going into Epstein's parties. So he was like saving them.
Let me tell you something about Michael Jackson. I know some people who know Michael Jackson, because I'm a drummer and I'm always chasing drummers all over the place. So I know some people in the entertainment industry who knew Michael Jackson. They all tell you, and they don't have no reason to say this shit. They'll tell you he's just a normal dude. But you don't start raping kids at 31.
Right.
You know, that's some shit you got in your bag from back in the day. There was a guy in England who was a TV personality, right? This is all public. And he used to, you know, rape kids, you know, and he was very much friendly with the king and the queen and all that stuff, right? And
With the King of England? I mean,
well, there's no really, them people aren't kings and queens, man.
that's another topic for another.
That's another king my ass. You know, but so this dude, forgot his name, but maybe when you edit this shit, I'll throw the name up and you put it on a Chiron or some shit. I don't know. But there was really starting to bear down on this whole pedophilia, child rape thing, right? And it turns out that most of the people that were involved with this were white. And they needed to get at somebody that could be the poster child for child rape and molestation and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And who better to go after than the biggest entertainer in the world?
That's crazy.
And so when they had Michael Jackson as this, and that, you know, they got a lot of cats. There's one guy named Corey Feldman. I met him. He told me something I can't tell.
Is that the guy from? He
The
did a bunch of
Goonies and
movies.
stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He told me something about black folks that was very complimentary, but I don't want to say nothing about it.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman. He's a good actor, man. He's a good actor. He started as a kid,
Corey Feldman.
and so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's a great guy. And he had a buddy named Corey Haim, and Corey killed himself.
Yeah, some guy that stabbed himself. Is
Yeah.
that from the Goonies movie?
I think they were in the Goonies.
Oh no, they were in the other one. They were in the what's it called? Not the it wasn't the Goonies. It was there was five kids, friends or something.
I don't know. They were in a lot of movies. Those two young boys.
I mean, let's see, what's the movie? Yeah, there we go. Stand by Me.
Right, and both Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were good friends, and they were molested by these Hollywood people, and so
Who was it that he was blaming directly?
Huh?
Who was it that he was blaming? Was it
I don't know who he was blaming. Nobody's going to blame anybody directly because you could get killed.
But it was when the allegations for the other guy, the other big movie guy, what's his name? He's friends with a bunch of people in the industry.
Yeah, that guy.
Weinstein.
Oh, Harvey Weinstein?
Was it? Wasn't it Weinstein?
I don't know what the deal is with Weinstein, but Cat Williams said that Weinstein tried to have sex with him. I used to work in the Weinstein building. I used to work for a film festival, and I was production coordinator over there. Basically, I might as well have been the damn, executive director because I did everything. So I used to see people like Robert De Niro and stuff like that, and I met Harvey Weinstein a couple of times, and he didn't strike me as a guy that liked dudes. I'm not, you know, I'm not jumping on this guy. I don't know what he likes, but he never struck me as a guy that likes dudes. So I really don't know what Cat was talking about, but
Maybe you weren't his type. I'm just kidding.
yeah, maybe I was too tall. I don't know. But Harvey Weinstein never got me like that. But you know, I don't feel sorry for Harvey Weinstein, but it's kind of fucked up that they just picked on him.
Right.
And it's kind of fucked up that they just picked on Cosby. Look, they wanted Trump out so bad that they revived the Cosby thing. They revived the Michael Jackson thing because Oprah started talking about Michael Jackson. And they wanted Trump so bad out of office. They wanted to get him so bad that they took down Matt Lauer, Tavis Smiley, Al Franken, Charlie Rose, a whole bunch of people all of a sudden became sexual predators. Let me tell you something.
Their allegations, or they were convicted, or
Matt Lauer's, they said he had some chick in the office and he wouldn't lock the door. Charlie Rose used to walk around his office in a bathrobe with his dick out. What's wrong with that? Why can't you walk around in a bathrobe and your dick out in a professional atmosphere? I mean, Gandhi did that for years.
Oh man,
he walked around with no
Gandhi.
So anyway, this guy, they just went after him. I don't know what went down. And even they went after Louis C.K., but Louis C.K. was jerking off in fucking begonias, in front of women. So look, what I don't understand, but I kind of do understand. I never had a problem with getting women, right? And I never had a problem being comfortable around pretty women. My mom was pretty. All my cousins are drop dead gorgeous. It's ridiculous. All my cousins are drop dead gorgeous. So, and when I was a kid, I was the youngest one in my whole family. So I was always in the arm of some pretty black woman. So I was never intimidated by anybody's looks and stuff like that. But some of these guys who are out there, they do certain things for women. I mean, to get women. Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that wrote a book. This is the dumbest shit I've ever
The
heard.
guy who wrote a book.
I'm not done.
Okay.
There's a guy who wrote a book.
Okay.
It's called Confessions.
The guy who wrote a book. Go ahead.
That guy. That
That
guy.
guy.
You know that guy. That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not that guy. That guy. Now,
He
you
wrote a
talk about the other guy. I'm talking about that guy.
Who wrote a book?
He wrote a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Okay.
Now, the book was about how you would take over a country. First, you would send an envoy in, and he was the envoy, and he would talk to the leader of the country, and he would say, "Look, man, you got to give us, access to your natural resources, or,
An economic hitman, he said?
Confessions of an Economic Hitman."
Okay.
Right? And when you hear the end of the story,
John Perkins.
yeah, John Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the end of the story, it's like the stupidest shit. So he says he would go in, he talked to Manuel Noriega, he might talk to Salvador Allende, he might talk to Patrice Lumumba. I don't know if he talked to these people,
Wow.
huh? I don't know if he talked to these people, but this was
interviewed, like information from them came into his book.
no, yeah, but yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's old enough to. He might have been old enough to talk to Patrice Lumumba. But when you want to depose or dispossess the leader in a country, what the Western world do, and according to his book, is they go in and they say, "Yo, here's the deal. You found a uranium mine a couple of weeks ago. That's gonna be our shit. And if you don't give us your uranium, there's gonna be some issues." And then they would send in the hit squad to kill him. If the economic hitman couldn't do it via conversation. So then they would send in like a goon squad, like they did with Maduro. They send in with Maduro was different. They send in the military. So they would send in a hit squad and they would, bust a cap in them like they did with Salvador Allende in Chile. And that's how they get them out. And then they put a puppet in there, and then the puppet does what they say. Like when they took out Patrice Lumumba, and they put in Mobutu Sese Seko or Joseph Mobutu. So this is how they got down. And if that assassination didn't work, then they send in the military, and they straight kill you and your people, right? Yeah. So that was out of that book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Do you know the reason he gave for getting that job?
For getting the job of writing?
Of an economic hitman, because he was an economic hitman. Do you know the reason he gave for that, for getting that job? He said, "Well, I was shy and I couldn't get girls, and this helped me to get girls." So he
What the heck? What a way to go.
and so he took this job so he could get laid. So what I'm trying to tell you, when these guys like Puffy and all these clowns, like this guy, the Prince of England, this so-called prince, right? He is dude, you're
the Prince of England.
You're considered a Prince of England. You're the brother of Prince Charles. You can't get some pussy, dude. I was broke.
What was his name? What's his name? Prince?
I don't know, Prince Andrew or something like that.
Arrested. Let me see. Arrested.
So this is what I'm trying to tell you. My ex-girlfriend Sharon, she calls them cornballs. There's a lot of cornball dudes out there that would do the most heinous things to get some,
This guy.
yeah, do the most heinous things. You're a prince, bruh. If I'm a prince or considered a prince, I'm getting mine. I don't care what you tell me. Sam Cassell was a basketball player, okay? And he is one of the ugliest dude on the planet, and he was getting women. You mean to tell me you're the prince and you can't?
That's why they got to read your book.
What book? Oh, the Wakanda book?
No, the other one.
Oh,
How to Make Love Like a Black Man.
Yeah, that's coming out soon. So what I'm trying to tell you is
Damn.
don't just look at Jeffrey Epstein, because this is part of Western civilization. There is no deep state. Okay, it's the state. That's what y'all do.
There's no deep.
There's
It's
nothing
not
deep
that deep.
about it. That's what y'all do. And I always tell people, if you were listening to black people for the last 100 years,
Yeah, but they're crazy. They're cuckoo, you know.
yeah, if you've been listening to Hubert Henry Harrison, if you listen to J.A. Rogers, if you listen to David Walker, if you listen to Fannie Lou Hamer, if you listen to all these people, even the musicians like Billie Holiday, if you listen to Sam Cooke, if you listen to Malcolm X, if you just listen to black folks, none of this stuff would have happened. There would have been no Epstein. There would have been none of this. There'd be no Puffy. There'd be none of this stuff. But when we were telling white people the truth about their own people,
They thought
they were like,
make shit
"Oh,
up.
you
Here we go
black,
again.
always
Making
complaining about stuff,
making up stories.
making up story. There is no way a white man is gonna put his penis into a 3-year-old boy."
That's crazy. Yes. Yeah,
So,
and then there's one after the other after the
you ever
other.
heard of Hugh Hefner?
The Playboy guy, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that was another guy
I'm
that
sure.
was considered by a lot of people a Jeffrey Epstein.
But
And
he died, so he,
well, yeah, but this goes on and on and on and on and
yeah.
on. And everybody's looking at Epstein, but before Epstein, there was somebody else. Epstein was the 90s guy up until now. They arrested him and stuff. But there was guys back in the day, there's a couple of guys, there's a bunch of guys now. You know, I mean, these people in the Arab Emirates, they do that, you know.
They fly women out in Dubai and stuff and do the thing.
A friend, peace be upon her soul, she just passed. She was a stripper. And she used to tell me, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's a specific religious sect in New York where the men love black women to beat on them and defecate on them and urinate on them.
Whoa.
And they would hire some of the girls that she used to, you know,
You don't have to
work with.
say, but sure, everybody knows. Go ahead.
Know what? Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, go ahead.
and a lot of there was a time I was working on a movie about strippers, right? It was about two guys who couldn't find jobs, so they opened up a strip club and stuff like that. And I was working on that movie, so I met a lot of strippers. And you sit down. I mean, strippers are human beings, so you sit down. They got a story about when they were in seventh grade, and they got a story about
What
when
they
they
doing
went to
yesterday?
Dubai, and then they got a story about pissing on some dude on President Street.
Some crazy
You know?
shit.
And they would get hired by these people to do stuff, and they some women get hired by these Arab dudes, and these Arab dudes, they reverse the case. They do the peeing
On that.
and the defecating on the girls, and these girls get paid $10,000 to go on yachts. You know, there's something called, I think it's called yachting.
Or boating.
No, yachting,
Hmm.
where you as a girl, okay, as a guy, you pay a certain amount of money to get on these yachts, right? I think it's called yachting or
Hmm.
yacht girls and something like that. So you pay money to get on the yacht.
Hmm.
Let's say you were a freak, right? And you
Which I'm
want
not.
you wanted chicks and stuff like that. So you may pay like $50,000 because you got that kind of bread
Hmm.
to go on this yacht. And this yacht is a big yacht. And all the girls on the yacht are fair game. You can have sex with any of them. You could touch them. You could grab them, whatever. And sometimes it's out into international waters where
Oh, there's law.
there's no law. So I knew some girls who did that, and they would go out and do stuff, and so this sex thing is not locked into Jeffrey Epstein
Mm-hmm.
and these clowns and President Trump and the housing sector or whoever the fuck. All these people have some sort of sexual sickness that they find ways to express. And it's not going to stop. You think Puffy was the only one that was running pussy back and forth? I've been on tour with rappers, bruh.
Yeah, it's a crazy,
It's,
crazy
it's,
world.
it's the same thing. Okay, hey, I'm gonna tell you a story that was really bugged, and this story has nothing to do with a sex party. Has nothing to do with nothing. This is just on my block. Okay, so this brother moved on my block. I'm not gonna say what he did in the industry because a lot of people know me, and then they would know who he is. This brother was on my block, right? And good dude, man, good dude. And then I know this girl who he was messing with, and she lived, down further. So she came through and they were talking. And I was like, yo, what's up? Blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. And she was standing there. She was wearing it's like a tank. What I don't know, one of the tra- shirts or whatever,
Top like
spaghetti
crop top.
straps.
Mm-hmm.
Crop, no, not a crop top, a spaghetti strap
Okay.
dress, right? And he's talking. Now this nigga's trying to impress me.
Mm-hmm.
She reaches in to her breast.
Oh,
She had no bra, and pulls her breast out. So I go, yo, what the fuck you doing?
mm-hmm.
You stupid? And I got in his face. You know what the chick did? Rajan, it's not that serious.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
this,
crazy.
so let me go back to President Trump. And people got to be clear about this. And people didn't understand what he said. He said, when you're a star, they let you grab them by the pussy.
Oh, wow.
He didn't say, I grab women by the pussy.
Uh-huh.
He said, when you're a star, they let you do anything. Like what? Grab them by the pussy. He was telling the truth. Okay? I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm not saying he did do it. But he didn't say, I grab people by the pussy. And I experienced that shit. I was 17 when that happened.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking to my man. I was like, yo, man. And I talked to the girl later on. And I was like, why you let that dude do that?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, sometimes you just got to let stuff go. But the thing about it was, she was a singer
And she
and he
needed,
was a player in the game.
so she needed
And that was her. And this is how it works.
her entry point, pretty much.
There you go. This is how it works, right? Because this happened to me a couple of times. This is how it works. You get an entry man, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a singer, you're an MC, you're a model. This is for the most part women, right? You get an entry man, right? What's an entry man? Somebody that could get you to that party that you can't get in.
Right.
Sometimes that's me. Sometimes that's a drummer. Sometimes that's a sax player. Sometimes that's a keyboard player, right? Sometimes it's security or whatever. But as long as you're connected and you can get in the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take this chick, so you go in as a +1. This chick is trying to come up. You already smashed her because you smashed her. So she smashed you so she could get into the party. So you hitting this. But you don't know she's trying to play you to get up.
Right, right,
So
right.
she goes,
Stepping stone.
right. So she goes with you. And let me tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you something. A comedian is one of the lowest level motherfuckers you can get unless you're a star. I'm going to break down the entertainment industry. There's broke, homeless, college student, comedian, dancer.
Oh, wow.
Dancer.
This dance, that's not. I wanted to be a dancer for.
Forget that. I
Yeah, good
dance.
thing I didn't.
No money in that. So
That's
so you get your entrance boy, right? So your entrance boy may be me. It may be, JB Smooth when he was coming up. It could be talent. It could be any one of these comedians who got access, right? You go through the door. Next thing you know, you're at a album release party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's, Pharrell, there's, Kanye, there's Diddy, there's, Lil Wayne, all these motherfuckers, because I've been in those situations, right?
Mm.
And now she moves from you to another dude.
Yeah.
She might move from you and she might go with, oh, let me get Funk Master Flex's number, because Funk Master Flex is in every party.
Right.
Oh, let me get XYZ number. So now she ain't calling you no more because she got in and she's with Flex. Now after Flex, or not that I'm saying that's what Flex is doing. I'm just saying she might try to get with Flex, or she might try to get with Mr. C, or whoever the hot DJs. She might get with Kid Capri, or I don't know who the nigga is now. That ain't my scene. So she makes a move and she steps up, she steps up, she steps up until she gets where she needs to go, till she hits the Diddy door. Like that girl Cassiopeia. In my opinion, there was a lot of dicks that went up in there before Diddy.
There's a lot of cat. Oh, a lot.
In my opinion.
Damn.
There's a lot of dicks that you don't get to Diddy on a one shot. Okay? It's gonna take you a couple of shots. Because the guys like Diddy, they go to one party, that party's whack, they go to another one. They'll hit 10, 15 parties in a night until they find the one that locks. And then they may chill there and they may go to an after party. So all this
Mm-hmm.
is a sex road.
To success.
However you want, it's a sex road. Some people just want to ride in a limo and get champagne. Let me give you an idea, right?
Would you say that's in the American culture? That's in the American culture.
It's in Western culture, and it's seeped into all the other cultures. There's a guy named Livewire, right? He's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And Livewire was performing in Pennsylvania, and I rolled up there with one of the brothers from Convict Records, right? What's the dude that's building that shit, that Wakanda shit in
Akon.
Akon. So Akon, one of Akon's dude. So we up in Pennsylvania with my man Ray DeJean, who just passed away. So we in Pennsylvania up there. I know everybody. I rolled up. I'm like, oh shit, I got to get out of this business. So I'm up there with Ray DeJean.
Just because you know everybody, you gotta get out already.
Not, I'm gonna give you another whatever. So anyway, so we go up to Pennsylvania. I think it was Allentown, right? And Livewire is a rapper that is just explosive. This guy, he's like a friggin' gymnast doing a floor exercise. You know what I mean? He's all over the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And they had these white girls that were there, right? And they were backstage. And they wanted to come on stage. And I was like, you can't, he told me, he's like, yo, nobody could come on the stage because I don't want to hit anybody. Because he just runs around. So these girls desperately wanted to just be on stage with Live and be part of the whole thing. And I don't know how they got in the party. They could have gotten the party through sex, or they could have paid to get in there. But they wanted to get, and one of the girls offered me some pleasure just so she could sit on the stage with Live, or just be on the stage with Live. And I was like, you can't be on the stage with Live. So it's not necessarily a come up. It's just to be there. They're get it girls, where they're going to try to get money. They're people who just want to be there. And they're people who seriously want to come up. And a lot of times these record executives and these power people, they don't have the power you think they have. You can't believe that you're going to sleep with a record executive and get a record deal and sell 7 million records and become Alicia Keys, right, or Janet Jackson or fucking Rihanna. Because there's a pipeline. Yeah. The executives have already collected a gang of people, and you're some chick
They're just coming to.
just coming today.
Uh-huh.
These bitches been sucking dick for years. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So you may not be in that pipeline, but oh yeah, you know, I'm a producer and I could. I remember back in the days when I was a kid, people used to come up, yeah, I'm a producer, I'm a producer, I'm a producer, I'm a producer. I'm like, what do you produce? Well, you know, I got a couple. What do you? And then you start asking, what kind of board you got? What are you using?
They don't know.
What's your digital? What's your DAW? Okay, how are you doing? What are you doing? That real to real? What you doing? You know? Well, you know what? That's my tech. I had there's this lady that used to manage a group called Sisters with Voices.
Uh-huh.
He had rented an apartment from me back in the day when I was doing real estate. So she rented an apartment from me, and she had this group called Sisters with Voices, and she used to manage them.
Mm-hmm.
So she meets this jazz musician, and she starts managing the jazz musician, right? So we go up to Long Island to check out the jazz musician because he's having a session, and I knew the drummer, right? I can't call his name either. So I knew the drummer that was in the band.
Holy secrets.
I can't
You might have your own list. I'm just kidding.
No, I can't
No,
just blow
I
people
got
out
you.
like
I got
that. But you know, this is because these guys confide in me. I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of their stuff, and I know a lot of stuff that we've done together.
you. Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, yeah, you remember that time with me? Oh yeah, yeah, she had a fat ass, didn't she? And then his wife is like,
You didn't tell me about that.
right. So we go up into this studio, and it was a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like when these guys say they go into the studio, they going to some place with a couple of laptops, you know, maybe they got a 24 track board and whatever. And that's it.
Right.
This studio had a 48 track board, right? Outside of a fiberglass wall with a drum stage with a screen, a vocal booth, right? It was set up.
Mm.
They had, you know, keyboards, they had wind instruments. And she looked at me and goes, now this is the lady that was managing Sisters with Voices.
Mm-hmm.
She looked at me and goes, I've never been in a studio like this before. And I was like, really? And then she goes, oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Because she knew she just said some dumb shit.
Yeah, she disqualified herself.
I was in studios like that when I was 7,
Oh wow.
6. My brother was a musician.
Mm.
So what I'm trying to say is this whole game is not what you think it is, because there are
It's a whole
people,
bunch of
yeah,
smoke and mirrors everywhere.
it's a bunch of stuff, and you can't think that you're gonna go there and you're gonna sleep with Puffy and you're gonna bypass everybody that has already slept with Puffy or has already slept with, you know,
Sure.
somebody higher than Puffy. So, you know, you young ladies out there and you young men out there who trying to get in this business know full well that sexing is not the way to get in. You know, you've gotta line up yourself, especially to this day. You know,
So the industry as a whole is like is rotten, you know. So
no.
okay,
No,
explain
no,
that
no,
because
no, no.
okay, wait, let me say this and then you can correct me if I'm wrong.
You're
So
always wrong.
that's the point. I gotta say wild no, but so the industry, like the acting industry, the music industry, there's all these industries that there's always a rotten apple that messes it up for everybody, right? So now I have a daughter, right? Like I would love for her to be like into acting, into
And she's
music,
cute.
into
That's serious.
So that's why I'm like nobody's seen her face on social media, you know,
Don't
because
put her
I'm
face on social
protecting
media.
her. Like there's an innocence that I carry myself. Like I love the part of like keeping myself innocent. And I was going into that industry a little bit, right? I was doing performance, I was acting, I was dancing. I did one show for this Dominican heritage thing Um, and then after that, I was like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. It just there's too many bichos. They call it bichos. It's like leeches,
Oh,
leeches, or like germ, not like messed up
parasites.
parasites. That's the word.
Try not to touch me.
For too many parasites that want to suck the energy out of you, that want to like drain you, So how do you go about this rotten industry in a safe way?
First of all, it's not a rotten industry. Some of the best people that you ever meet are entertainers. Kind, sweet, talented, humble, and very giving and very loving. And that's where uh, uh, the problems lie. But let's not blame the so-called entertainment industry, the music industry, the film and television industry. This shit happens in nursing.
Mm.
This shit happens in law. This shit happens in architecture. This shit happens in the police department. A couple of months ago, I hate that I have.
That you know so much.
Not that I know so much. It's just that I have these goddamn stories, and they're ridiculous. All right. Sometimes I just got to preface shit so you understand the direction I'm coming from. I got a lot of friends who are cops.
Uh-huh.
And I got cop friends that became cops when I grew up with them. And I got cop friends that I know from the industry. Just sometimes the police officers, they go and they do security at the clubs to get some extra money. So then you meet these dudes and you
I
find
thought
out.
they showed up like, hey.
No, no.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
There was a guy. I caught a DJ, a gay DJ, in a limousine because I was working. When I was doing comedy, I was in college, and I was working for this guy who was a cop. There was a guy named Mel Stanley, the comedy cop, right? And Mel was a comedian, and he called himself the comedy cop. And we met Mel, and Mel introduced a lot of his cop friends. I met this one particular cop who was high level security for a lot of people, and he was walking with a lot of people. So he kind of knew me. He knew what he knew me, and he said, "Hey man, you want some work?" I'm in college. I'm doing stand up, and I was like, "Yeah, how much does it pay?" He said, "Yeah, I could give you $150 a night." Really? So my job was to be an eye. I'm not fighting nobody. My job was to be an eye and clear the path for the target to go. And then him and his boys would back up. So one time he had these gloves with leather on it, right? Not leather,
Metal.
lead.
Uh-huh.
And he's left it in the car. And that's what he uses sometimes when he needed to neutralize somebody. So he said, look,
Neutralize.
I,
Trump.
so being celebrity security is pretty easy, but nothing really happens, but it's nerve wracking.
Just you need to make sure everything goes.
Because you got to walk a package from VIP out the door, and that package could be, Kanye, it could be Rihanna, it could be ASAP. My boy, he rolls with ASAP, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so while you're walking, everybody's cool, but you're not. One of my
Everybody's happy and shit. You
right,
fucking like, all right. Nobody. Yeah.
one of my senseis used to bodyguard Marvin Gaye. This is
Oh
a
wow.
real old dude, right? He used to bodyguard Marvin Gaye, and we used to train, and that's all I'm gonna say. So he used to bodyguard Marvin Gaye, and there are times when he would show up to where his celebrity, like one of his buddies used to bodyguard Donald Trump. I wrote about it in Wakanda is Real, Professor La Puppet. He was a martial arts guy. He used to be Trump's bodyguard. So he would pull up to a club and he would tell Marvin Gaye, we're not going in there. And Marvin, why, man? We got a party, brother. What you talking about? He's like, we're not going in there. And they have to listen to him because he knows what's going on.
Right, he's
He
aware.
said, give me a minute. I'm going to check this place out. Because he knows the vibe. He sees the people. He knows what's going on. You remember Kevin, Big Kevin? Well, his brother's like that. His brother's a serious martial artist. And his brother's a real street dude. Of course, he's college educated and all that. But when you're doing security, because I did security for this guy, and so he sent me to get the gloves. So I go to get the gloves, and it's a big, big SUV. There's the Expedition, there's the Tahoe.
5 doors.
This was the Excursion, and it was a custom extended excursion. Whatever. It's a big, big thing. So I opened the door. And the lights come on, and these two dudes going at it in the back. Yo, what the fuck you doing? I was like, yo, get out of the car now. What the fuck you mean? I was, yo, money. Get out of the car now. Because that's the car we got to take the package in. This dude's going at it. Who's you? I said, yo, man, get out of the car now. So he leaves the car, and this turned out to be a very semi-famous New York guy who I'm not going to mention.
Oh, wow.
So I got him out the car, and I got one of the bus boys to clean out the car. I was like, yo, do me a favor. I hit you with $50. Clean that car out. We don't know what's there. We've got to go get this guy. And this is a big guy. And I can't tell you who this guy was. It's a big guy, right? So I go back in the club. I call him. I say, yo, man, there's two dudes going at it in the car. He's like, what? And he knew who the guy was. I was like, I got a bus boy. He's cleaning the car up. Good work, good work, good work. How long? I said, give me 10. Okay, clean it up. And then we walk the guy out. And then the guy comes up to me. Yo, man, who's you? I was like, yo, man, leave us alone, please. Please, just leave us alone. I'm not about that right now. Just please leave it alone. I'm working. Okay? Do what you gotta do. Talk to who you gotta talk to. My name is Rajan. Tell him Rajan kicked you out of the car. Okay? I'm a comedian. Everybody knows me. You just complain to who you gotta complain to. But if you come in my face again, we're gonna have a problem. And I don't want to do anything because I'm working right now. So we take the guy out, right? Guy goes into the car. Oh, this is great, man. Did you clean this up? He's talking to my man. He's like, yeah, we always try to, whatever. We're getting back to the industry. I don't know how I got to that.
No, but do you get in the glove? You got the glove?
I got the gloves. No, I was telling you about the different industries it happens in, right? And so
that's a crazy story, by the way.
Police, like I said, I got a lot of friends who were cops. And this guy, that's how I got there. This guy was a police officer, but I think he was retired. But he was a police officer who did bodyguard work, and he was working for Arab sheiks and stuff like that. He would get me mad money. When I was in college, he would get me like $500 a weekend gig.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's free food, and I get driven home. Sometimes I have my own car because I could take I'd have to pick up the Arab dude in the car, and what you want me to do with the car? It's like a Mercedes.
Keep it for a weekend.
There's like, hang on to the car for the weekend. We're gonna need you to pick them up because I don't know where they're gonna be. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
So I pull up to my house in like a 5-6.
You're selling drugs.
My mother goes, where the hell you get that car from? And she is violent. Don't come in. Where you get that car from? And she's thinking, because I'm in, because I'm not that dude. I wasn't smoking. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't selling. I wasn't doing nothing. And not only that, she knows full well that my best friend's father owns a used car dealership. And I'm a car dude. I would be getting cars from him, but not a 560 or a 600. This was before the Maybachs, right? So I'd get the car to go and stuff like that. So a lot of my cop friends, you know, when I grew up, they would tell me stuff and they would show me stuff. The cops are the sickest motherfuckers in the world. Let me give you an example of how bad this is, right? Within seconds of Prince's death,
Mhm.
police had the pictures on their phones. And my man would send me stuff. And he's a big Prince fan. He's a bigger Prince fan than I am, and I'm a big Prince fan. And he says, yo, man, they sending out the Prince photos. I said, don't send them to me. He said, yeah, they sent it to me, man. I'm not gonna send it to you, brother. When Kobe passed, within seconds,
Wow. And it just rolls like that.
wow, one cop texts it. You text it to your man. You in LA, and you text it to your man in West Covina. Once that jumps off your phone to it's all over the place.
Damn.
That's why I don't take pictures with people, because it's like, I don't know you. This shit's gonna be all over the place. I'm not doing that. So when Kobe passed, my boy, the same dude that got me to write this Wakanda book, he said, yo, man, Kobe passed. I was like, don't send me the pictures. He's like, I got you, bro. They sent them to me already. I respect you. I'm not gonna send you the pictures,
Wow.
right? But what pictures he did send, and this is my point about, don't blame the entertainment industry. This happens in every walk of life, from the beauty pageant, to uh, uh, administrative assistants at Target. You know what I mean? His cop was getting mad overtime, right, from her supervisor, and
From her.
from her supervisor.
Uh-huh.
She was getting mad. She was clocking in like 300 grand a year,
Damn.
right? And they started to audit this chick, and they were like, "Yo, how you getting this paper?" So they started auditing her. Why are you looking at Prince, man?
Just because I was like, when did he die? 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people Prince ain't beating me in basketball, but that's another story. So, this chick was getting all this overtime, and she accused the guy that was giving her overtime of sexually harassing her, when it appears that they were smashing.
Oh, wow.
And that's how she was getting the overtime. And that guy happened to be my boy's former XO, executive officer. So my boy is telling me, yo, man, this shit is crazy, bro. She lying on my man. And this dude had a wife and all that stuff. And it all came out, right? So she was sending videos of her and a hootenanny to the cop. And then my man sends it to me. He said, yo, this is what she was doing to get the overtime. And she trying to say that this dude sexually harassing her and stuff like that. So I'm saying there are Diddy's and Epstein's all over this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You just have
That's crazy.
You just have to not be a cornball, which is one of the reasons I wrote the book, How to Make Love Like a Black Man, to try and get people's swag up. You ain't got to do all this shit.
I'm a big job.
It's a lot of other stuff that has to do with that book. I want that book to come out. I want people to read that book. I want people to understand what that book's all about. That book's about many things. But, when I was in college, right? This brother named Darren, right? I had this buddy named Darren. And I don't know for the ladies out there who might be listening to this shit, Darren is Morris Chestnut on steroids.
Morris Chestnut, okay.
Morris Chestnut was in Boys in the Hood, and he's got another TV show. But in the Black community, Morris Chestnut, when it comes to looks for women, he's A. And he's like 60. Morris Chestnut is still holding ground since 1992, right? Because he was in Boys in the Hood.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. And the women love this dude. So my boy in college was that nigga on steroids.
Oh, wow.
So I would hang out with Darren. Me and Darren used to hang out together because Darren he just thought I was funny. right? So me and Darren was boys, tight. Anytime I was in school, sisters are coming up to me, "Hey, Raja, what's up? Where Darren at?" So I was getting his leftovers. And his the chicks that he didn't want was top shelf.
Oh wow.
So me, Darren, and my cousin Boogie, we was like the king of the school because we was with Darren. All the girls like Darren, and we was the fall off.
Right.
Darren was like Michael Jackson, and I was like Tito, and I didn't give a fuck because I was getting. So I'm like, these niggas are just cheese balls and they can't get women. A lot of these guys get these executive positions and they abuse their positions and they try to get as many women as possible because if you look at them, they don't look like much or nothing. They don't have that swag, that savoir faire. They're not Shaft. They're not Donald Boyce. They're not, they're not like, I don't know, but they don't have that shit, or they believe they don't have that shit, and they will do anything, man. They will go,
Funk.
huh?
The funk. I'm looking.
They don't have the funk.
I'm looking for the word. I was like, what was it?
They
The
don't have
funk.
the funk, and the funk is important. And it's like you see these people and you feel sad for them, but don't get me wrong, I'm a light-skinned nigga with so-called good hair, so I kind of get mine on a different tip, you know what I'm saying? But so I can't just say, oh, wow, 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 woo, woo, woo. Plus, ever since I was growing up as a kid, they said I look like Prince, they said I look like Elder Barge, and they said I look like fucking Michael Jackson. So I could not get women, right?
Right.
So, but having said that, not every chick is gonna like me,
Mhm.
and not every chick that's looking at me thinks I'm attractive. They might be like, hell, but at the end of the day, you gotta really develop some personal swag so you're not a cornball where you going to strip clubs and you dropping thousands. I had this I was trading the markets with this guy, right?
Mhm.
He was teaching us how to trade, and he was always going to these strip clubs. And we would go to like Crazy Horse and Shoes Rendezvous. And I'm seeing these chicks, and I'm like, man, my girlfriend sitting at home look better than these hoes. What are you doing? And I had a friend, the same sister I was telling you about, who just passed. She had top shelf. I don't want to call her name, but anybody that knows who she is will know who she is. She had top shelf women. Top shelf. I mean, her friends were just, and they would do strip parties. So I'm in Sue's Rendezvous and I'm in Crazy Horse because I'm trying to get next to this guy to learn how to trade. But I'm sitting in the club and I'm like, this chick got a dent on her ass, man. Her toes ain't done. You know what I mean? Her hair is raggedy.
Damn.
She ain't got no lotion. She don't even smell right. Now, if you deal with my girls, you walk in the room, the smells, nails are done, toes are done, knees are lotion, ankles are lotion, elbows are lotion.
No ashy land.
No, these chicks are ready to go. Ready to go. They on go right now. They get up on go. That's how they were groomed by this sister.
Mm.
So he's up there in these clubs and he's just a cheese ball and he just ain't got his swag together. And this dude is a great trader. He's a multimillionaire. He makes money. He's one of the most sought after traders out there. The guy knows his shit, but he's got that sexual insecurity that a lot of people have.
Mhm.
That
That becomes a burden on them.
man, it's like, bruh. And then we're at the place, right? Now, they don't know what I do. They kind of know what I do, but they didn't know what level I did it on. And at that time when I was trading, I backed off the comedy business for a little while. So I got into real estate and stuff like that. So I wanted to trade and I wanted to, just bag up some money. Because I left a couple of tours because those tours were getting crazy. Those tours were getting, there's the Cat Williams, a brother got shot in front of a house that Cat Williams was staying at or was responsible for or whatever. I don't know. Somehow it was connected to Cat Williams. This guy got hit with 5 slugs.
Oh wow.
So that comedian shit is not exactly ha 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 hoo, hoo, hoo. These niggas think they fucking street thugs. So whatever, I'm trying to get next to this guy, trying to learn stuff. So I gotta, kind of, hold my oats. But I'm looking and he's in these clubs, and then we go to dinner and they got these chicks with them and they're trying to impress me with these girls. I'm like, bruh, I didn't fuck that in middle school. What are you doing? And it's like these, as they say in Guyana, these yazzy ass women who ain't got much happening, and they're trying to impress me. We sitting in there's this restaurant we was chilling in. Why you got to stand up, Steve? Just background shit.
Just background noise.
So he's sitting in a restaurant, right? And this guy, his little, poop butt right hand man. I'm trying. All I'm doing is trying to learn how to trade. I'm not trying to impress you with women, because if I bring the girl I got at the crib, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad. So he's out there, he's sitting there holding this girl, and he's acting like he's a big shot. And I'm looking at this chick, and I'm like, you proud of that? But this is what will make a nigga do what Puffy did. This is what will make somebody go to a Puffy party.
Yeah, when they get rejected.
But yeah, and not only they get rejected, they want every chick they see. And if you want every chick you see, this is why I wrote that movie Brooklyn Sex. It's about that type of environment where these men play themselves and these women play themselves for these men. And it's a really, really bad situation that destroys both people. You know what I mean? Because after a while, intimacy goes out the window. That's why half these women are so crazy sometimes, because they've been with these clowns.
Right.
And they've been at these parties, they see these women doing this. I had one living right up here in this building. She was renting a room, Indian chick from Canada, right? She's Guyanese and Venezuelan. And okay. All right. I'm gonna tell you another story and finish this one. I'm driving with my homegirl, right?